again, I'll talk about that in a sec. And then really briefly at the end, like, thank you for your time, here's how to contact me. This also seems a little bit short, so I would recommend maybe having a little bit more. No more than a page again, but yeah, this is kind of like a condensed version to make it easy to read, but put the most important information on there that you can. So basically, with your letter of introduction, it's to introduce yourself to the school or district personnel, provide an accurate picture of you, your experience, and what you're interested in, talk about strengths and communicate your needs and goals for your student teaching experience. And again, it's going to help you with the matching process. So things to include, so your experiences talking about with students, with colleagues, with families, with parents, talking about your vision of an ideal school. So what does a really good match for you look like in terms of the school, in terms of the teacher that you get placed with, and in terms of like classroom style. Also talk about how your personal strengths and skills will benefit the student and the school that you're hoping to get placed, or the school that you're hoping to get placed into. And professional learning goals as well. Can fit all of that in there. So here's kind of just an example of some different statements. Like my experience at a summer camp for middle school students helped me to realize my enjoyment and ability to work with young adults. I've always liked working with children in volunteer situations, so I decided I wanted to transfer that into a teaching career. So that's kind of a good way to introduce some of that. So here's some different language and things that you can touch on in terms of your vision of an ideal school. So is it collaborative, innovative, effective communication, mentoring, a safe environment? These are all different things. Clearly not hitting on all of these, but picking the ones that are most important to you and speaking to those and what you would hope in this placement site. And in terms of a vision for a mentor, what are you looking for in terms of feedback? And is it supportive, welcoming, provide room for failure? All different things that we've seen students use in this letter. And then a vision of an ideal classroom. So talking on these different topics here, and the ones that are most important to you. Inquiry-based nurturing, diversity, consistency, things like that. Is there any questions so far? And so then again, talking about what your personal strengths and skills are can sometimes be uncomfortable, but thinking that here's just some ideas around different areas that you may be strong at or that you might want to hit on. And then other things that you can include on your resume, maybe some other extracurricular stuff that you may be interested in. Have you coached a baseball team? Have you worked at a computer club? Maybe something unique to you that you could provide the school potentially. Things to be considering in that way. And then talking about some learning goals for you, learning classroom management, daily routines, grading procedures, collaborative teaching, and areas of growth, like what are you hoping to gain from this, and really showing your genuineness in that. Like we all have areas of growth and things that we need to work on, and experiences that we're hoping to gain in order to improve on those areas, so being able to talk about those as well is helpful. And then again, closing with how to contact you, inviting them to contact you, and providing a phone or an email for yourself and for references. Is that something that you do end up including later on, or if they ask for it? And then again, some general tips. So proofread, and have somebody else do it. A lot of times, I think we'll go over it like 5-10 times, and we know what it's supposed to say, so sometimes it's hard to pick up on those little errors. So having just like a friend or one of us or somebody to look over that is really helpful. And then sign your letters in ink, not something that I thought about, and somebody else had mentioned signing your name and scanning it back in as well. And remember to stay general due to the process. So in the future, the generalness is not going to be what we recommend, and being more specific in the future. But right now, due to this process, being a little bit more general and more specific on you as a person or a student, or soon-to-be teacher. And then prepare for possible interviews. So keeping a copy of your resume and interest letter so that you remember what you hit on. If you're in an interview and they're asking you about it and say like, oh, you mentioned this and you don't really remember, it's helpful to be able to like look back on that and make sure that you really like drive those points home, and maybe even expand beyond those in an interview. And practice.
Like I had said before, our career services division here at UNC is one of the strongest and friendliest I've ever seen. If you send them something or drop in, they are going out of their way to help you get into a placement and later on get hired. And even if you switch jobs later as an alumnus, they're there to help you as well. Anybody know where this university started? How it started? What it was all about? Anybody know that story? Who could tell me? Go ahead.
Did it originally start as a teaching college?
Yes. Yeah, this city was started out as a colony from some city out east, right? And they got here and they wanted schools for their kids and they couldn't find teachers. So they set up the Colorado Normal School. That's what this is. UNC is the chartered by the state legislature school for teaching. Okay, so if we're the normal school, let's see you. That was a joke. I want to amplify on a couple things that Brittany said. One, proofread, proofread, proofread. Get someone else to read your stuff. Ask for help, and keep things to one page. Okay, as a hiring manager, I looked at the first page because what was I looking for? Do they fit what I'm looking for, and do I want to interview them? Okay? I'm not looking for your life story. I was born a poor black child in the sharecropper village, blah, 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 blah. Like Steve, you remember that thing from...
The Jerk. That's
The Jerk.
before their time,
Yeah,
Charlie.
it's before their time. It's before. Gosh, you got to see that.
It's a
that
classic.
movie. But anyway, what we're looking for is what makes you a good fit in their place. Okay. All right. So I want to introduce to you now somebody who's super important to you, and that is Lynette Kerrigan. And many of you already know her. But she's the one who makes placements for every student, and she's super good at it. So be nice. And if you need help, that's what she's here for. And like I said, she's really good at it. So, Lynette.
Thank you. Okay.
The EDFE 130, thank you. The EDFE 130 checkpoint is your application for student teaching, okay? The link up there will take you to the checkpoint page on our website. It's the same page you've gone to in the past for your 110 and your 120 and all of the paperwork that goes with that. So it's the same place you're going to be looking for. You're going to start with the checklist for your program. So be sure that you're printing the right one because different programs have different requirements for this application. The next thing you're going to put in is a copy of your degree works. And while you're getting into degree works and making a copy of it, take a quick look and make sure that everything is correct. Because we will check it to make sure that you've completed all of your PTEP, teacher preparation courses, before you'll be allowed to student teach. You're going to need to include a copy of your passing praxis results. If you have not passed the praxis completely, by the time this packet is due, you need to email me right away. There are a couple of different steps you're going to have to take. The absolute drop-dead deadline to pass your test in order to student teach in fall semester is April 15th, and that is firm. There will be no exceptions to that. Okay, so you really have until the 15th. The reason you want to have it done sooner than that is because I'm going to start making placements for all the students who have a completed packet. They passed their test, they have the GPA, they've completed all their courses, they've submitted their survey, okay? I will hold on to your packet. The packet will be accepted, but it will not be graded, and I will not start working on your placement until after everybody else has their requests out in the field. So it's going to put you a little behind everybody else. Get it passed as soon as possible. When you get a copy of your passing results, save it. You're going to need it forever, and it's very expensive to have to go back to the testing site and request another copy. The next thing you're going to do is include the confirmation page to your request for placement survey. The request for placement survey will not be open to you until Thursday morning, okay? and the link will be posted on the EDFE 130 canvas. Okay. The survey will close the day that your packets are due, so get those done as quickly as possible. The next thing you're going to include is the signed major content approval form, or if you're in the elementary program, the coursework checklist. It's the same forms that you've submitted for the 110 and the 120, you just need to do them again. Next thing will be your signed statement of understanding for student teachers. It's a list at that website that you're going to print, read, and sign. It's basically all the rules and the policies and procedures that you're hearing tonight, but we need to know that you've actually read them and acknowledged them. After that, you're going to submit another oath and consent, same thing you've done before. If you have previously reported a criminal conviction and you submitted all of the court documentation, you don't need to submit the court documents again, but you do need to fill out the conviction in that block that asks you for those, okay? If you have had a charge or a conviction since the last time you did the oath and consent form, you need to talk to Dr. Warren immediately.
In person.
This could hold up your student teaching placement. There's stuff we have to do to get it taken care of right away, okay? The due date for your packet for this semester is February 10th. However, when February 10th falls on a weekend, you automatically get an extension to the following Monday. So for you guys this time, it'll be February 12th. You will turn those in to the Student Teaching Placement Office in McKee 216. They'll be checked at the front desk to make sure that everything's accurate, and then they'll be signed off on, and then I'll get them so that I can work on them. So that's where you go. Yes, sir.
Could you repeat that?
McKee 216. Yes.
There was like a Canvas thing that I signed up for to turn it in digitally. Do I
Yeah,
still
but
need to turn
that's
it
an experiment. You still have to turn it in paper.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a new process for piloting.
It's not for you guys. We're just using you as guinea pigs. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I've always wanted to be a guinea pig.
Yes.
You can add that to your resume. Okay. All right. Now, research, research, research. This is really, really important. Not only for you to decide where you believe you're going to be a good fit for your student teaching placement and maybe ultimately for where you want to be employed, but every district and school has a different set of rules that they require for the placement process. And those rules change at any given time without us necessarily knowing it. So, check that website often and before you complete your request for placement survey to make sure that you know exactly what's required for the school or the district that you're applying to. A lot of districts in the immediate area here around Greeley are considered no contact districts. That includes Greeley District 6, St. Vrain, Thompson, Hooter. I think that's the only ones right now in the immediate area. That means you are not allowed, nor am I, nor is your professor, nor is your current practicum supervisor, allowed to speak to anyone in the schools or the district about a student teaching placement for you. If they find out, they will deny your request and you will not get placed in that district at all, and it has happened. Someone had a relative who had a friend who worked in a district, it happened to be Thompson, talked to somebody in the school, made arrangements on the side, didn't go through the right process. Well, somebody else in that building happened to work with the coordinator at the district office and mentioned that little process. Guess what? They not only didn't do student teaching there, they didn't get hired there. So we have to follow their rules. They have these rules in place because districts and schools have all kinds of different criteria they have to look at as to whether or not they can even accept a student teacher into a classroom. Sometimes there's going to be changes in curriculum in a building. The teachers may not know that yet. Sometimes it could be that the school is on a state watch list and they don't want to have student teachers in their building so that they can focus on making some changes. There have been instances where a district was going to make a change of administration in a building. A student made their placement for themselves with that principal, and then when we sent the request to the district, they denied it. district didn't want to have to tell the school yet that some administrators were going to lose their jobs. So we became this political nightmare for them now because they have to reveal something they didn't want to reveal because we didn't follow the rules. That's why the rules are in place. A lot of districts now require an additional application specific to their district. District 6 does, Thompson does, Poudre does, St. Vrain does, Boulder Valley does, Denver Public Schools, Cherry Creek, Douglas County, almost everybody, all of the big districts require that. There will be links on that research districts page for you to click on to go to that application. Don't panic when you get into them. Most of them are actual job applications. You'll be able to choose the position you're applying for as student teacher so that they know not to expect you to answer all of the questions as if you were an experienced licensed teacher already. Just do the very best that you can with it. Take your time. They do this because they want you in their system because you're going to be on a 4-month job interview. They want to be able to snag you up right away when your student teaching is done and have you hired and ready to go. Especially for those of you who are student teaching in the fall. A lot of our candidates get picked up to start in January. Okay. You should have those extra district applications completed by the 1st of March. Some of these districts have deadlines for their applications, and if you list 2 or 3 choices of districts and they all have their own special application, and you don't complete any except for the first one, but then the first district is not able to place you, and so we have to move on to your next choice of district, but you didn't fill out their application, and their application is closed, that now becomes no choice for you. We have to move on to something else. So have all of those applications completed, even if you're hoping that you don't have to go there. Have them done by March the 1st. Okay? We will not place you in a school where you have relatives working or attending, and we will not place you in a district where you have relatives who are administrators. So principals, superintendents, some kind of position at the district office. We do that because we want you to have an authentic experience, and unfortunately people are human and there will be biases either for you or against you, which have both happened. So we try to avoid that situation for you. There are certain times when exceptions can be made to that. Some of our students like to return home to live with their parents while they're student teaching to save money, and their home happens to be in a place where there's only one school and they have a relative who works there, okay? Let me know about that if you've got a special circumstance, and we'll see what we can do. But generally, if you're requesting placement in the Denver area, we're not going to put you in a school where you have a relative. Questions? Okay. We do placements out of state and internationally. I'll talk a little more about the international placements here in a bit. If you are interested in an international or an out-of-state placement and you have not yet contacted me, you need to do that tonight. There is a big process we have to do to get a legal agreement established between the university and the district where we're going. And sometimes when you get attorneys involved in that process who want changes, it can take a long time. I have a student teacher right now in Virginia who had to delay her start date by 2 weeks because we've been negotiating back and forth between our attorney and theirs to get this taken care of. So it can take time. We need to jump on it right away. We do not recommend that you student teach out of state unless you have a specific purpose for it. You're moving home with family, you're moving with a spouse, you really are planning on being employed in that state. You're going to need to have a good support system during your student teaching. It is a lot of work and it can be very stressful. So now is not the time to decide you want to go to California to student teach because it would be cool. It won't be cool, trust me. Okay? There are some states that actually will not accept out-of-state student teachers as well, so we have to be kind of careful with where you're wanting to go. Contact me right away if you haven't already so we can get that process going for you. The request for placement survey is going to ask for your general contact information, demographic information, your program. Please, 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 please check your degree works to make sure what program you're actually in. I cannot begin to tell you how many people fill out the survey wrong. I actually placed a Spanish student teacher who was not really a Spanish student teacher, okay? Make sure you know what your program is and what your licensure area is. Okay. You're going to be asked if you have declared an ESL endorsement or an ESL bilingual endorsement. Make sure that you've actually declared that before you mark yes on there. That's going to affect where I can place you, okay? Yes?
Does that include the CLD endorsement?
Yes. Okay. You are going to be, yeah.
I was looking for the special applications, I went to that website, and I'm still a little bit confused on how do we find if a school district like has a special application?
If the district has a special application, it'll be listed there. You have to click the little down arrow and it'll open up at the bottom. If they have one, it's listed there. Okay? And we keep that updated so that you know. Yeah.
And then I'm still confused a little bit about the do not contact districts. That means you cannot send anything to them?
You cannot send anything to them and do not talk to anyone that you may know there. The only exception to that might be if you're currently in a practicum or a step 3 in a school or a district, and the people there come to you and ask you, hey, you're student teaching next semester, we'd really like to have you back. They have approached you. You did not contact them first. So what you need to do is thank them, let them know if you are interested, and let them know that you will make the request through our office per their district policy. And then email me and let me know right away who you talked to, what they said, and we'll take care of it through that chain.
So for these special applications, we fill them out and send them in, and then we tell you, or do we tell you we want to fill them out, then we send them? Like, you know,
In your request for placement survey, you're going to list the places you want to go. If those places have an application, you just go ahead and submit those on your own.
Okay.
And that's not considered contact if it's no contact district.
Okay.
You're just submitting an application, you're not talking to anybody. Okay. Other questions about that? Yeah.
If we're doing practicum or observations for classes, and we're interacting with teachers that we are going to put on that form, is it okay basically as long as we don't mention student teaching? Like,
Basically, as long as you're not making any promises or making any arrangements, you can list them in your request and we'll take care of it from there.
can you tell that teacher that you're going to list them in
Yes.
your request?
You can tell them, yes. Yeah. Don't go talking to the principal and, you know, getting them little gifts and stuff to try to encourage them to stay here. Don't do that. Yeah.
If we do decide to go to a contact district, should we notify you if the principals talk to us?
Yes. If anybody has asked you to come back to them, just let me know and we'll work with them. Okay? This does not apply to charters or private schools within a district. They don't follow the district rules. Okay? Yes?
With the relative restrictions, if you have, my sister is attending in St. Vrain, is that okay if I still am in St. Vrain as long as I'm not interested?
Just
in
not the
driving?
same school.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah. Now, if your mom was the superintendent, we wouldn't put you there. Other question? No? Okay. In your request for placement survey, you're going to be asked to list 3 choices of where you would like to go. You can be as specific or as general as you want. You can say, I want to be in the St. Vrain district. You can say, I want to be in Southeast Elementary in District 27J with Mrs. Jones in the 3rd grade. Okay? You can say, I want to be in this zip code. Or I want to be on the west side